Hello there everybody, today we're going to be jumping back into the post-ban standard with a mono green counters deck. Let's go through a little bit of what we're trying to do here. We're starting off on the low end with Evolving Adaptives, which is a growing threat, going to get bigger over the course of the game and cause problems for our opponents. I also have Iron Apprentice, who can transfer some of its counters, and Tail Swipe for some easy interaction at instant speed. This is our only major form of interaction, so this is going to help us deal with some of our opponent's more threatening creatures, get them off the board, maybe even push through so we don't have to worry about blockers as much and tip the board in our favor. But the 2-mana spot, we've got Armored Scrap Gorgers for ramp, Galagreeters with their whole slew of different abilities, getting +1/+1 counters, ramping us, gaining us some life to help us stabilize. Ozolith synergizes great with our +1/+1 counters, and puts +1/+1 counters on our creatures. This is going to be amazing for us. The Beast Caller is a better Iron Apprentice, going to grow each time we play a creature, and when it dies, it's going to be able to transfer its counters onto some of our bigger, more hardier threats. We have Bloated Contaminator for the Proliferate. We've got Kodama here for ramp. All of our creatures are going to be modified in some way, whether it's an oil counter or +1/+1 counter, so this is going to be phenomenal. Pelucranos is Wormcoil Light. And as a 4/5 with reach for 3 mana, it's already amazing. Tribute to the World Tree helps us stabilize. It'll put +1/+1 counters on our smaller creatures, making them start off bigger, and drawing us cards for some of our larger threats. That's going to be amazing to help us push into the late game. 2 Invasion of Zendikar for ramp. Defiler of Vigor is going to end up putting some +1/+1 counters on all of our creatures whenever we cast permanents, really creating an insane board state that's going to be difficult and for our opponents to deal with. And Thrun is absolutely insane. Can't be countered, so we can get through counter magic heavy decks, and he also can't be the target of non-green spells or non-green abilities. So this is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to stick on the battlefield, it's going to stay there, and it's going to be a consistent source of 5 damage. With the ability to put extra +1/+1 counters on it, it's going to be very easy for us to continually hit in for high amounts of damage. And then we have Nis at the top. Nis is a great toolbox. Our +1 is going to make more big creatures for us and help develop that overwhelming board state. The -1 can deal with any pesky artifacts or enchantments, and that -7 is game ending all the time. Now, as for lands, we're running a 1 of Boseiju, as we always do, and then 23 lands total. Now, if you guys have any ideas for other decks that you'd like to see me play in Standard, why don't you go ahead and comment that below. And if you enjoy the content, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and hit the ladder. Alright, let's get started. This looks like a phenomenal starting hand. We got the turn 1 adaptive, and we have a choice turn 2. Let's see what our opponent's on before we decide there. And we do have Thrun in hand. Alright, let's start off with the adaptive. So with a Dimir deck, we're going to be worried about the removal spells that our opponent has and potential for counter magic. I think they're going to be working towards us. Okay, so we're playing into Esper. Alright, yeah. They'll definitely be playing like more of a control deck. Let's go ahead and get the Beast Caller out while we know it won't be countered. Swing in for 2. If they trade, that's fine. Yep. Sounds good. Their 2-mana spell for my 1-mana spell, that's a pretty good trade there. Next turn, we'll have to choose between Galagreeters and the Ozolith. Maybe we'll draw one of our 3-mana creatures, that would be fun as well. Alright. Start with the Galagreeters. We get the +1/+1 counter on the cast. Now our opponent's gonna have to choose between removing this and countering. There was no counter. Swing in for 3. If he kills the Beast Caller, we'll just move the +1/+1 counter over. That's not too bad. Yep, sure thing. There you go. Next turn, we can play the Ozolith and put counters on. That would be fairly strong. Let's go ahead and play the Ozolith. This should get a counterspell if he has one. Yeah, there we go. Opponent casts Negate. Play the Beast Caller here. See if he removes Galligrators as well. Yeah, alright. Less than ideal. We are definitely gonna want to be drawing a land here. Alright. So far, so good. No land, but we do have Pelucranos. Always gonna cast before we attack, so we get the extra counters. Alright. Lots of 1-for-1 removal. So it isn't too bad. As long as we can land a threat, we should eventually be able to overcome them. Right. Now, 2 edicts are already in the graveyard, but I'm gonna go ahead and cast the Contaminator first. Let's see if we can find out what our opponent has before we swing in. Alright. Potential for Wandering Emperor here. Yep. See if he exiles, we'll be able to kill it next turn.
It's coming off.
Let's see. Yep, alright. So very scared of Pelucranos.
This is what you get for hurting my people.
Might -1 and kill the Emperor for the token. If we can draw another land, I think we're gonna come out on top for sure here.
That may your blade strike true.
Yep. Alright. Not quite what we were looking for. Let's go ahead and swing in, though. Alright, second Emperor.
I am the Emperor of Kamigawa, and I will protect my people.
Quite the hand that they've got here. Now we'll be able to start plussing.
You are not much of a roadblock.
Draws a land, though. That's good for us. We do need the land. We've missed quite a few land drops.
We've got the edge in this fight.
And we get it. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the Defiler here. This is gonna give us more options. Opponent gets another land.
Keep watch for intruders.
We kill the Emperor for sure next turn. Let's see. 4. Yeah, let's go ahead and cast this off the Defiler. We'll pay the life. Then we'll cast the Thrun. I don't want to deal with the Emperor, so we'll just go ahead and remove that. No need for them to block here. Next turn we've got Nissa.
I'll be back.
Start getting more threats. And we've got it! Alright, good start. Alright, this looks like a pretty good starting hand. A little light on the lands, but that's alright. We're definitely gonna want to get our Scrap Gorger out. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go for the Scrap Gorger. This will try and guarantee us our 3 mana for next turn. Okay, good choice. We'll tap out for World Trade. We'll see if they counter. I'm okay if they do. We'd rather them counter this than one of our other threats. Yep, sounds good. Alright, let's go ahead and play the Contaminator here. Get our first counter on the Scrap Gorger. See what our opponent's got. If they play another... Nope, untapped land. Alright, so we're worried about Wandering Emperor here. So before we do anything else, let's just go ahead and swing in with the Contaminator. If he has a way to deal with it, he will. Alright, that's fine by me. I'm gonna go ahead and play Galagreeters, then the adaptive here. And then we're gonna make a treasure token. Start ramping. Next turn with Kodama, we'll have a good way to get some additional lands on the battlefield. +1/+1 counter on the Galagreeters. Okay, we'll swing out here. Alright, there we go. Looks like our lands have been fixed. Now I am a little worried about a board wipe here. Yep. Makes sense. Go Ozolith. Play the Beast Caller. This is gonna benefit. Alright, it's countered. Alright, let's go ahead and play our Scrap Gorger here. And then we'll just play out another Kodama. Opponent down to 3 cards in hand. Alright, marches Kodama. Down to 2 cards. So far this is looking great for us. Alright. We're gonna start by putting some counters on the Scrap Gorger. Move to combat. I'm gonna swing in for 2. We'll exile Depopulate. Alright, opponent down to 1 card. We'll play out the Beast Caller. Looking good. Let's go ahead and play our Contaminator, get 2 +1/+1 counters. Ozolith for another 2. Swing out for 6. Alright, flashes in Hullbreaker. Move all the +1/+1 counters over. Alright, well. I'm gonna start by putting some counters here. Swing for 11. Opponent down at 8. We are presenting lethal. They'll have to draw something good here. They did not, sacrificing a land to draw another card. Right, draw a card. They could very well just be waiting. I'm gonna go ahead and attack for 13. Okay, we force the block here. Opponent's down at 3. Go ahead and proliferate again. No need to go too wild here. We're gonna play out the adaptive. And we're gonna put the counters on the adaptive. Keep these in hand. These are gonna be great backup if he manages to clear the board. And we've got it, alright. Alright, going into the next game, this looks like a great starting hand. We'll go ahead and keep. Turn 1, play out the adaptive. Depending on what our opponent plays here, let's see. It's a Plains, might be looking at mono white. See if he has a turn 1 creature. He's looking at the adaptive, maybe he has a removal spell. Play Skrelv, alright. Beast Color up next. Beast Color grows adaptive, swing for 2. Next turn, we'll go ahead and play the Scrap Gorger. Maybe Pelucranos. Alright. Green and white, this could be the Toxic deck. Yep. So we do have to be careful about our life total here. Alright. Start with the adaptive. +1/+1 counter on the Beast Color. Then Scrap Gorger is going to grow both adaptives and the Beast Color. Then we have Pelucranos to grow everything next turn. Move to combat, swing in for 7. It's pretty good for turn 3. Let's see if we get any blocks. No blocks. Opponent down at 11. We will have 11 after playing Pelucranos next turn. So our opponent will have to block. Let's see what they've got here. Opponent says good game. Alright, looks like we got it. Alright, here we are on the draw. This is okay, but we're gonna take a mulligan here, see if we can find something a little bit better. We'll go ahead and keep these 6. Drop the invasion. Phoenix Chick. Alright, looks like we're playing into a red deck. Start with the forest. Alright, here's Feldman. We're gonna play out the Scrap Gorger since it's a better blocker, try and save some life. And there's Squee as well. Alright, we'll block the Squee. Down at 12. Did not draw the land. Let's go ahead and play Kodama here. If our opponent can remove Kodama, that's not going to be great for us. Yep. Yep. Swings in for 7, brings us down to 3. There's nothing we're going to be able to draw that can deal with that, so let's go ahead and concede. Alright, here we go. This looks like a fine starting hand. We'll go ahead and keep. Wonder if we're playing up against another green deck with the Nissa there. Alright, looks like we're not. That's fine. Play out the adaptive. Next turn we'll be able to swing in for 2. Alright, opponent does nothing. Play our creature, grow the adaptive, swing out. If he has a removal spell, he'll probably use it here. Might see a cut down or something like that. Nope. Alright. Go ahead and swing in for 2. You have Pelucranos next turn. Alright, no Scrap Gorger for us. It's fine by me. Alright, maybe there's a counterspell. Yep. Opponent has Dissipate, swing in for another 2. Bring him down to 15. Right now we are still dealing damage. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and crack the clue before combat. We might draw a smaller creature. Alright, we do not. That's fine. Swing out for 2. Opponent down to 13. Okay, we're gonna play Tribute here. This is just gonna help us refill our hand as we cast our bigger creatures. Alright, Emperor. He'll -1 in trade.
I hope you're ready.
Yep.
Guards, to me.
that is the correct choice here. If our opponent just passes. Alright, yep.
Let your blade do the talking.
Makes the samurai. Let's see if there's anything else. Alright. Well, we're gonna go ahead and cast a Filer here. If he doesn't get removed, we'll have Thrun and the Scrap Gorger putting a counter on Thrun. Yep.
Remember your training.
Let's see. Opponent's thinking maybe they have something to do. I'm not thinking they have a removal spell, or else we'd see them use that. Let's go ahead and start with the Thrun. We could just go ahead and cast that for its full cost. Okay. Gonna Scrap Gorger, pay 2 life for that one. Adaptive, paying the 1. Actually don't care about the Emperor that much. We'll go ahead and swing in for 9. Yep. Sounds good. Opponent down at 7. Thrun conveniently will deal 7 damage. A board wipe would be a problem for us.
I'm never done for good. This is what you get for hurting my people.
Alright, not too bad. We'll just go ahead and swing out. Let's exile the Emperor. Yep. Opponent down at 5. We're gonna just hang on to the land. Make them think we have something in our hand to protect him. And we got it! Awesome! Alright, well, I hope you all enjoyed. As we saw, that deck was very good at pumping out large threats and quickly growing out of control for our opponents. We do run into some issues with opponents who can either beat us by outracing us with strong early threats, or effectively trade into us, as we don't have too many card advantage engines that are going to allow us to sustain that growth into the late game. As always, if you guys have any other decks that you'd like to see, make sure you leave a comment down below. Other than that, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.